Hello, welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Leyton. Cities and counties throughout the state of California are grappling with how to deal with sober living homes. Certainly people want people who need the help of a sober living home to get the help they need, but how do the neighbors deal with what they say are nuisances that come along with the properties? So with us now is Orange County Supervisor Lisa Bartlett, who is working on this issue, and I welcome you.
Thank you. It's great to be here today.
So there is a real balancing act. Whose rights are more important? You know, who governs the regulations as far as these sober living homes? We see the problem throughout Orange County.
Yes, and that's a really good question because it is a balancing act between state and federal laws and then bringing, local control down to the local levels. So the sober living homes over the years we found are proliferating in a lot of residential neighborhoods. And right now there's no oversight, no regulation for the sober living homes. And so that's why I'm working closely with Congressman Darrell Issa regarding HR 472, which will provide that oversight and regulation and bring us back with some local control with regard to licensing for these facilities.
So because you don't have local control, any great idea you might have to have a happy living condition for everyone in the neighborhood, you can't really enforce that.
That's correct.
So what are some of the options that you're looking at that you would like to be able to implement locally, if not for the federal oversight?
Well, I think a lot of the cities and then the county with its unincorporated areas, right now with the sober living homes that are coming into the residential neighborhoods, they tend to congregate in areas. So you might have one cul-de-sac that has 10 homes, and 6 out of the 10 homes are now sober living homes. So we'd like to really work on that concentration issue. They need to be spread out amongst the community as opposed to congregating in one city block or cul-de-sac.
Why is this happening? The proliferation and the concentration in certain neighborhoods?
Well, I think the proliferation is because I think there's no oversight and no over-regulation at this point. And so the problem with the lack of oversight is that you have operators that come in, and not all of them are great operators for sober living homes, but they don't have any rules and regulations, so to speak, to follow. And they're also able to charge anywhere from $10,000 to sometimes $40,000 per bed per month.
Where does the money come from? That the patients, the people living in the sober homes, how do they get the money to pay for that?
Sometimes it's directly through the families of the people who come into the sober living homes.
Is there state, federal supplements for them that go to the landlords of these houses?
Many times insurance is covered for these individuals for their treatment of addictions. But the insurance industry, I think, is starting to really look at things very carefully with regard to the sober living homes. They know that there are some great operators out there that are compliant and really providing the treatment that needs to be provided to these individuals, but there are many operators that are simply non-compliant.
Is there any real accepted standard of care for these facilities?
Not necessarily. So, these rules are kind of set in place by the operators, and the treatment has to be done off-site. So the residential units are strictly for living quarters, and all of the treatment is done off-site.
Okay, some might argue, well, what's the big deal? 5 people getting the help they need, living in a home environment instead of a hospital environment. What are the problems? What are the protests that the neighbors have?
Well, in many communities, there aren't just 5 people that are being treated in the home. There might be 15, there might be 20 people.
There's no limitation to the number of people right now?
Well, there should be. But that's one of the issues, is the overcrowding. And then some of the individuals, when they come into the sober living homes, they're non-compliant, and so they get kicked out, or they finish their treatment and they have nowhere to go. The families don't want them back, they have no job, they have nowhere to go. So this is also adding to our homeless population in Orange County.
When they are released, I've heard that argument that they have nowhere to go or no means to care for themselves, and so that is increasing the homelessness.
Yes, many times they get a one-way ticket into the facility without a return ticket.
This HR 472, is that what it is? Define exactly what it would do, how it would help people in these neighborhoods.
Well, it provides some of the regulation and oversight from a government perspective, and it allows for local control with regard to permitting and licensing. And so that's where the local jurisdictions, the cities and the counties, will have a much greater impact on making sure that we've got good operators in place, they're following the rules and regulations.
And where does this stand right now?
HR 472 is moving through Congress as we speak, and we hope to get something moving forward in a positive fashion shortly.
What are some of the things you think you could do to remedy the situation to make this livable for everyone?
I think having local control will make a huge difference, because then the cities and the county will be able to work with the zoning laws to ensure that there is that proper balance in the neighborhoods, and you don't have on a street of 10 homes, you don't have 8 of the homes as sober living homes, so that we can work on the concentration issue in our neighborhoods.
Are there any other, because cities already have noise requirements and limitations and things like that.
Yes.
That you could use, yeah. So what areas you're talking about? We've heard that there are problems in Costa Mesa, in Newport Beach, San Juan Capistrano has a problem, and as the county, you're looking at some of the unincorporated areas that are experiencing these difficulties. Which areas in particular are you finding the proliferation of these homes?
Ladera Ranch is one area where we have several sober living homes that have popped up, but a number of my cities, primarily the coastal cities, Dana Point, San Clemente, Laguna Beach.
Do you feel like your hands are tied because of the legal issues that can come up, because of the protections that the people living in these sober living homes are often defined as disabled, and so you cannot do certain things to change their living conditions?
That is correct. The individuals that are coming into the sober living homes for treatment are protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and so it is illegal to discriminate against a protected class.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that there are any real success stories coming out of the sober living homes, or do you know of any alternatives to the sober living homes? Have you looked at suggesting other areas of residence?
Well, I think one success story would be the Costa Mesa story. There was a large operator there who had a number of sober living homes in the residential neighborhoods, and decided to consolidate for business purposes, but it was a win-win for the city and for the individuals that were treated in those homes, because he decided to kind of pick up and move to more of an industrial area and consolidate the homes into the industrial location. And so that worked out much better, because he's now working in an area that's not impacted or where they're not impacting the residents in the area.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of city council meetings, county supervisor meetings. It's an emotional issue for people in neighborhoods when this is happening.
It is. It's an emotional issue, because while we all want people to get better, if they're addicted, we want them to get the proper treatment, and we want them to get better and assimilate back into society again. But when there seem to be overtaking neighborhoods, and you've got quality of life issues and public safety issues, then it becomes a problem for everyone.
Yeah, and the legal arena and the restrictions with the oversight, with the regulations, it just makes it that much more difficult to live happily ever after with everybody in these situations.
Yes.
Lisa Bartlett, Orange County Supervisor, appreciate you being here today.
Great to be here.
To talk about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we're glad you could join us as well. I'm Leslie Leyton.